Good day, it is Althea from the Bible in 1 year. Today we spend time in Exodus 5, growing downwards before growing upwards. This chapter starts with Moses, who, in obedience to God, take a lot of courage to go to Pharaoh to talk to him about God's plan for the Israelites. The Pharaohs were not seen as a public servant, but rather as children of the sun. They were seen and worshipped as friends of the great gods of Egypt. Moses grew up in the house of Pharaoh. Therefore, he knew that Pharaoh was nothing more than a human being worshipped as a god. But in Pharaoh's own eyes, and in the eye of the public, Pharaoh was a god to be feared, for he had great power over all. Moses and Aaron said to Pharaoh, "This is what the God of Israel says, 'Let my people go, so that they may worship me in the wilderness.'" Pharaoh, knowing all gods, said, "Who is the Lord that I should obey his voice to let Israel go?" What Pharaoh did not know is that God was about to teach Pharaoh who God is, that Israel belongs to him, and that God was about to bring fulfillment to his 400-year-old promise to Abraham to free Israel from slavery and to take them back to the land of promise in Genesis 15, verse 14 to 16. Pharaoh said no, Israel cannot stop doing the work, and Israel are idle and lazy. Therefore they need tougher labor. So he increased the intensity of their labor without lowering their daily quota in verse 4 to 9. The Egyptian taskmaster in charge forced the heavy burden on Israel, beating them to keep up to the quota. The Hebrew foreman tried to reason with Pharaoh, but Pharaoh refused in verse 10 to 18. The Hebrew foreman confronted Moses and Aaron, saying, "It is all their fault that Pharaoh and his servants hate us. Let the Lord judge you because you have done this." The immediate effect of Moses' visit to Pharaoh made things worse for Israel. Moses had to face this significant and difficult test of confronting the evil of Egyptian bondage in verse 21. Moses does the right thing. He turns to God with his frustration and doubts, saying, "I don't understand your purpose. Why have you sent me? There is no success on my work. In fact, it has only made things worse for Israel." Moses already forgot about his encounter with God at the burning bush, sending him on this mission in Genesis 3. In the next chapter, God answers Moses, "Take courage. In time, you will see what I am about to do." Under compulsion, Pharaoh will drive Israel out in Genesis 6 verse 1. "I have heard Israel's groaning under slavery" in Genesis 2:23. "And faithfully I remembered my covenant with Abram, Isaac, and Jacob." Say to Israel, "I am the Lord. I will bring them out. I will not only free them with my outstretched, vigorous, powerful arm, with great acts of judgment against Egypt, but will redeem you, make you my people. I will be your God, and I will bring you back to the land of promise," in Genesis 6, verse 5 to 8. When God-fearing children of God take up their cross in obedience, things commonly tend to take a turn for the worst. When Satan is your friend, when you accept his lordship, there is no concern from him towards you, but only once you break free from his slavery, Satan becomes your enemy, and things might turn bad and difficult for you. We need to understand that corn seed, when planted, first grow downward. After germinating, the primary roots grow down to establish the plant. Then it shoots upwards through the soil, emerging towards sunlight as a small seedling. Romans 5 verse 3 to 5 read, "And not only this, but with joy let us exult in our sufferings, and rejoice in our hardships, knowing that hardship, distress, pressure, trouble produce patient endurance, and endurance proven character, spiritual maturity, and proven character, hope, and confident assurance of eternal salvation. Such hope in God's promises never disappoints, because God's love has been abundantly poured out within our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has given to us. God used adversity to train us to trust Him. Transformation takes time, and God is not interested in freeing you alone. He wants your whole heart to be set on Him. He wants you to be His friend, nurturing you in a closer relationship. May you be blessed. Goodbye.